Hello guys, so welcome to technical episode number 7. Over here we are going to start with our creating the parameter form. So I have not changed this, so I will change this one here, creating the parameter form. Okay, so this is the 7th session of our technical series, and over here now we have prepared our menu string in the menu in the last class. So this was the menu option which we have created, and over here we have added the workspace vehicles. So all these forms we are going to create. Over here we are going to create firstly the conveyor parameter form. Okay, so let's see, this particular parameter form can be utilized for any type of module which we are working, and it will help you out in case of any I can say any development or anything wherever you are designing a new module or understanding a new module. It will help you out to go ahead with what actually is the parameter form. Okay, so now let's start with the parameter form. For this we have to start with the user interface and we have to create a form. Okay, so the form name I will copy from here and then I will create the form. Okay, so form creation is simple. You can simply go on the project level or any folder level and click on the add button, click on the new, and over here go to the user interface, go to the form level and control A and then control V. Okay, so this is the form creation has been created now. Okay, so after this will open a form designer. We will add this particular table into our data source node, and then there are few setups which we have to cover. Okay, so this is the data source now. Okay, so over here we will go to convms parameter table, and over here we will go to the data sources. So this is now the data source has been added. These are the three forms. One is a preview form, one is a design form, and one is a definition form. Okay, so over here what it is showing is data source not provide additional optional for this table should behave on the form. We do not want the user to be able to delete or create the record. So if these properties are set to no, we will not be able to get the um, delete option. Okay, so if I go over here and I will click on the allow edit as no, allow delete as no, allow create as no, because on the setup form we don't want to create anything. Okay, allow create, allow delete. Okay, and then we add, sorry, not the allow create, allow delete, allow edit is there, and then insert at end, insert at end. So insert at end, insert if empty, insert it and no, insert if empty is equals to no. So insert and end means whenever a new form will be created, new form will be created and new form will be opened actually, we and system will come to the end option. Okay, we don't want by mistake anything comes, you press the below arrow and a new line, an empty line will be added. So these two fields, these two options, these two properties will always be no. Okay, in a special requirement it will be added. Okay, the form designer is broken into three areas: the form pane, design pane, and the preview pattern pane. Now we have to give some properties. So this is the caption I'm going to utilize. Let's apply the filter for the form. So if I go over here, this is the data source property. Okay, and over here if I go to the form level, this is the form over here which I'm going to create. Okay, so at the form level we are going to add this property. So the property is, let's apply the submit form which are held at the against the design node as shown in the figure. Okay, so let's go to the design node over here. Over here let's go to the design node, and on the design node we will give the caption. Like in table fields we are giving the label, over here we are going to give the caption. Okay, then we have a data source, then we have a data source, the data source of the form. We will be covering the data source of the form. So let's give the data source of the form that will be added over here. Then after the data source form there is a title data sources. So we will Control C, and over here the title will be copied. So title data source, over here we will be copying. Okay, so this is now done. This is your title field, the title field which we have added on the table level, that will be display them on the form. Okay, using this property. Then coming to the form pattern, the design node states that the pattern is unspecified, which we must specify. What it is showing is, if I go to the design mode and if I go to the pattern form, you will see the pattern over here is undefined. Let it be. So we need to define the pattern. Let me save it first. Control S. Okay, don't show this message again. Don't show the error list for now. Okay, so this is showing that unspecified is the pattern. To apply the main form, so basically the forms works on a pattern level. Okay, so you will see in our D365 FO environment there are multiple forms. There is a list form, there is a master data form, and there is a setup form. Okay, so against all the forms works on a principle of pattern. Okay, so we will apply these patterns over here. So let's go to the form pattern. If I right click over here and let's wait for some time. Yes, so this is the pattern I'm going to apply. So apply the pattern. The pattern is we have to take the pattern of table of contents. Okay, so the pattern is table of contents. The lower pin changes to the pattern tab as shown in the screens. Okay, so as you apply the pattern, any pattern you will apply, this pattern will this will show you the error if there is any error. Okay, now what we need to do, this is a tab control, so it is asking that a tab is missing, so let's add the tab. So how to add the tab? You can again click on the right click over it, then new, and then there over here we will click on the tab pattern. Okay, so this is the tab over here we have added now. So against the tab we will go to the next slide over here. The error is removed from the pattern, but shows that we have no tabs within the tab pattern. Okay, so these two are missing. Now we have to add, first rename the new control to the parameter tab. Let's copy this one. All these things will be visible to you in the preview mode. Okay, so let's go over here, and over here let's change this pattern name to parameter tab, and in the parameter tab, one minute, the what we are doing is table of content design TOC tabs is missing. Next we have added the tabs. There is removed from the pattern tab, but shows that we have no tabs within TOC tab pattern. First rename the new control to the parameter tab. Then add the new tab by right clicking on the design and selecting the new tab page. Okay, so now we will add a one second, we will, this is the pattern table of contents. Let me see, table of contents, table of content design, the pattern name is table of contents, table of content design, and over here TOC tabs is missing. This allows us to add a tab control. So right click on the design node and new tab. Okay, so I think one second, let me delete this one, and it is saying that okay, design new, and over here we will add the tab over here. So now my tab is added. Okay, form control tab. Okay, table of content design. So now we are going to, over here the error is removed from the pattern pane, but shows we that we have no tab pages within the TOC tab pattern element. First rename the new control to parameters tab. So let's rename it to parameter tab once. Just a minute. Let's rename this control to parameter tab. And once this is done, parameter tab, after this then add a new tab page by right clicking on the design pane and select the new tab page. Now let's add the new tab page. So new tab page. One second, let me check. Then first rename the new control to parameter tab and then add a new tab page by right clicking on the design node and then selecting new tab page. New tab page. Okay, so now this new tab page is created. Okay, so instead of the design tab we need to click on the new tab, add a new tab page by clicking design pane. Okay, now new tab page is created. Now the first tab is generally a general tab, so name this to general tab page. So let's create the general tab page. Now over here this will be renamed to general tab page, and now the inside the general tab page find a suitable label for the general and then enter the caption property. So this is basically your, I will tell you, just a minute, general. Okay, now we will save it. So this is actually your any parameter you open over here, accounts payable. Inside the accounts payable, if we go to the setup level, accounts payable parameters, and on the accounts, once it is opened I will show you. So now this general tab will be the first one. Okay, so as well to the designer, continually check that we are confirming the pattern. It has found the following issues with the tab. Okay, so now these two tabs have this issue. Okay, so now here we must add two group controls, one for the title field that will provide help to the user and another for the field we wish to show through this page. Okay, so two group controls we have to add, which it is showing. Okay, now right click on the general tab page control and click on the new group. Okay, so now let's go to this one, new group, right click and add new, and let's add a group over here. So this is the group. Okay, so one group is added, and over here only new group, rename the new group to general title group, and over here we will go to rename it to general title group. Okay, so now we will save it to the general title group and rename the new control to the pattern conformance pane shows we must have a static text control for the main title and 0 or 1 static text control for the secondary title. Right click on the general title group and choose new static text. What it is, it is actually the static text. Once it is open, yes, so this is a general, this is the static text. Inside this static text, this is the group. Okay, so these are the groups we are creating right now. Okay, so we must add a static text control for the main title. Okay, so let's add it, and if I go to over here, one static text it is showing. So on this, if I go over here, okay, so TOC page, one group is missing, group we have added, and under this group one static text is missing. Okay, so what I will do, click on the new button, I will go for the static text. Okay, so let's go for the static text. So this is the static text I have added, and then static text uh, for the secondary title, and click on the general title group and choose new text, new static text. General title group, new static text I have added, and rename the new static text to general title text. Okay, so I will click it, and to the name I will give general title text. So in this way you are going to create the form. Okay, general title text, create a new label for the text general parameters and enter the id into the text property. Okay, so it is actually showing that, okay, you enter the label. So what we will do, we will add the general over here in the title. So just a minute. Now we are going to add the general in the title, caption, name is done, label, where it is was showing, just a minute. uh, Enter the id to the into the text property. Create the new label for the general parameters and enter the id into the text property. Okay, so there is a text property for it. So this is the text, control A, control V, general. This is actually needs to be done uh, via your labels. Okay, so for everything should be there should be a label. Okay, reselect the general title group and check if the pattern errors are gone. Okay, so let's see the general title group and the pattern is gone. Okay, now we have to do the reselect the general tab page. Click on the general tab page now, and over here there is one more group we have to add. Okay, general tab, as we have now have one pattern error. So what we are going to do, new group. Okay, we will reselect general, add a new group control. Let's add a new group control, new, and over here we will go for the new group control. Okay, so now this new group control is added. Okay, and new group control indicated apply the pattern, field and field groups. So what we will do, apply the pattern, field and field groups, apply pattern, field and field groups. So this pattern is now added. Now if I go to the general tab page, it is now resolved. Okay, so we have to change the properties of this, rename the general control general fields. Okay, so control C, and over here we are going to add the pat name to general fields. So this is now done to the general fields, and over here now we are going to, on the form pane, expand the data sources and then the field groups. Okay, now what we will do, now you will see why we have created the field groups. Okay, so there is a field group. Okay, and inside the field groups what we need to do, drag field group default, and then the field group, drag field groups and default onto the general fields. Okay, so in the general fields we have to add the default. So there is a defaults, inside the defaults we will add this general fields. Okay, so now these fields are now added over here. Okay, so whatever is there in the default, that will come. Okay, so general fields, it is now added. Okay, so check each node for the pattern error. Finally we have special task for parameters form. Okay, so there is some code we need to write for it, but meanwhile we will check that if there is any error it will show. Okay, so this node no error, this node no error, this node has no error. So similarly you have to check, okay, at the design pattern level everything is fine. Now we have to add that finally we have a special task for parameter form to ensure that at least one record exists. For this, click on the form method node and click on the override init. Okay, so always there should be one form, one method, means one record, a blank record should be there. So for this what we need to do is we need to go to the form level and there is a methods. Okay, so these are the methods of it. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to override the init method. Init method is the first method which gets called when the form is called. Okay, so this is the init method. We need to override this one, initialize form. So this one, now initialize the form, create a blank line before the call to super and enter the following code. Okay, so whatever is in the parameter form, so now you can find out why we have used the find method. Okay, so it will initialize and it will find and it will return. Okay, so before the super method I will write this code. Okay, now we will save it, enter the file before the super call. Okay, save and close the editor and design the form. Okay, so what I will do, I will now go ahead for, this is the code we have written. Okay, so now we will save all, we'll go for the build and we will go for the build the solution. If the build is completed we will run this form here only, else I will show you in the next session. So this form table form I can show you open in table browser. For this particular form, for this particular table, we have created a, okay, so these are the details in the table. The default field, a default group will be shown to us. So I will take the rent as a default vehicle group. Now when the, let's see if the build is, yes, validation is completed but build is not completed, so let's wait for some time and then the build will be completed. Let's wait for 1 minute. If the build doesn't get completed, we will see it in the next session. Okay, so the form, all the okay, so it has some error. Let me see what is this error. The text timeout expired, the operation has not been completed, the build task return false. Where is the false actually? Let me see. The build task return false. Why it has returned false? Maybe meanwhile I have opened that form, so that's why. I will rebuild it, rebuild the solution. Let's wait for some time. Build is completed, build metadata, express compilation started. Okay, so this will take some time. I will show you the form in the next episode. Okay, so thank you. Thanks guys.